Welcome back, Pot Coven, to another 4-episode block. Ooh, what's our theme gonna be? What are we diving into? Can you guess? Do you know? What's it gonna be? Well, you know what? I'm gonna keep you on the cliffhanger. I'm not even gonna tell you yet. You're
so mean. I love it.
I will tell you that Ella is going to be in charge of this episode. She's going to be spitting the mad facts at you. So we might as well start off with Ella boosting herself up. It is Leo season as this episode drops. You know, we've got 2 Leo moons on this podcast, so we'll start off with our Gemini sun, Leo moon. Ella, what are you up to right now in your biz, in your life?
I just first want to comment that I think LA is getting the better of you. It's influencing you. I love it. Yeah, all right. What am I doing? God, what am I doing? Such a good question that we should all be asking ourselves. No, actually, I have started making more videos for my Leaving the Church series on Instagram, and I realized while making a few of the last ones that I never do it on TikTok, so I'm going to be trying to do more on TikTok as well if you follow me there. And you can always check out my shop. I put a few things on like sale, on discount. Hopefully I'll do like a fall blowout before I do all the Christmas stuff too. So yeah, just come follow me on Instagram at the.celestial.rose. And Jess, other Leo moon, what you up to, girl?
Being extremely overly sensitive lately. I feel like I'm in Cancer season or something. I'm not really sure. So in my business, though, I'm working on reparenting, which is probably why I'm going through all of these sensitivities at the moment, because can't really help anyone else reparent themselves unless you first do it. And I'm definitely releasing some old stories from my childhood and the current moment. So look out on my Instagram for more on what reparenting might actually mean for you and some courses coming up related around that. You can find me at The Cloak of Love. Jasmine, what are you up to?
Well, so on Tuesday, I just had my first show on Showcast. I have the new monthly show called Astro Hour with Aunt Jasmine, where I'm diving into the astrology forecast for the month ahead. I'm honey roasting a celebrity or a historical figures chart, answering fan questions, and it's just a fun space for me to be goofy and entertain. A lot of what I do is teach, and I love to teach, but I'm very excited to have this monthly outlet where I can focus more on just being like the goober that I am while also diving into astrology. I mean, there's still going to be like numerology and a bit of tarot and a bit of witchcraft, but, you know, mainly astro-focused. So that happens every first Tuesday of the month. The link to that is in my bio on Instagram. It's basically, I mean, my bio on Instagram is where you can go to get, like, entrance into literally fucking everything I do. So just throwing it out there, Saturn. So that's, like, the new big thing. I'm also, yeah, I'm doing a million things. I'll just throw that one out there today. So the first show, the pilot episode, was on Tuesday. So unfortunately, you know, you missed it. I didn't know that I was doing this, you know, and I wasn't able to promo it for the last episode that just released, which would have been cool to promo it beforehand so you guys could have gotten in on it. But, you know, schedules, things,
I love
they don't
hearing
always
you say pilot episode.
Pilot episode, yeah, it's fun.
That's hot.
It's cute. It's cute of me. Superstar. Yeah, Showcast very much was like, this is a show. Like, it's a show. So they used the term pilot episode. So I was like, all right, fuck it. Cool. We're going for it. It's a pilot episode. Yeah. So that's me. Let's not keep these babies waiting any longer. Let's
yes, you've been patient enough.
and the
and the suffering.
anticipation. All right, Ella, what are we diving into today?
Oh, you guys are going to love this block. Or, okay, I love this block. We are going to talk about magical tools. I know. I can just envision all of you jumping up and down, nearly crashing your cars in excitement, just freaking the hell out. I know, babies. I know. No. So in order to kind of cover, a bunch of different bases and find a way to split it up, we divided them into elemental associations. So I obviously am going to start with air because I'm the air sun. I have 3 tools or instruments or methods, I guess, that you can use in your magical practice. So grab your pen, grab your grimoire, grab your tea or your coffee or whatever you're drinking. Mine's out, but you should enjoy yours. Okay. The other thing that we did for these tools is, since we each have 3, is we also gave them each a sign association. So I'm going to go in order with mine and start with Gemini. And I chose smoke cleansing as my Gemini tool. I chose that because I feel like of the air signs, Gemini is probably the most fluid, much like smoke, able to kind of like encompass different things. And it's a, what do you call that when you can use it for multiple things?
Adaptable?
Yeah, that wasn't quite the word, but yes, I like that. Adaptable is good.
Versatile?
Versatile. Yes, that was it. Thank you, Jess. Yeah. It's a versatile tool. Okay, cool. Yeah, all right. So if you've ever used an herbal smoke wand or a stick of wood to cleanse your house, you kind of understand, what it's all about. But for anyone who is literally brand new to smoke cleansing, I'm just going to give you a little bit of background, a little bit of history, and I'll tell you a couple ways that you can use them. Most cultures have smoke cleanse rituals. They've been found to be used in Europe, Asia, Africa, South America, North America, pretty much anywhere that humans have resided. We, since the beginning of discovering fire, have just loved to see what we can fucking burn, I guess. We're like, oh, meat? Sure, let's burn it. Oh, veggies? Sure, let's fucking set it on fire. Yeah, we're humans. Let's play with fire. So most cultures have some sort of practice of smoke cleansing. And I brought a couple different examples of what that looks like. So for Celtic Druids, they used to burn cedar for like grieving and cleansing. They used to burn wormwood for psychic powers and to connect with deceased spirits. Native Americans, we've all heard of smudging. They used to use white sage, cedar, palo santo, sweetgrass, just kind of depending on regional availability and just the relevance that it had, like within, the different tribes and different areas. In India, they use incense sticks as part of their like worship rituals, and it represents the human sacrifice to society. Also, they use it as air fresheners. So I was like, oh, that's also cool. They're like, it's sacred, and also we're just going to use it to make sure it smells nice in here. I'm like, that's where it's at. I like that. And then Japan actually has 2 common types of incense use, which is either heating or smoldering small pieces of wood. So kind of like, I always think of like the little cedar chips in saunas and stuff like that, where they just kind of like heat it so that you can smell it and get the oils in the air and stuff. And then they also use sticks or cones. This practice began around the 6th century with the introduction to Buddhism. So it is actually kind of from India. Nepal, India? I think so. That's where Buddhism came from, right? Forgive me. Forgive me, Buddhists everywhere, for just not knowing. My apologies. But I feel like that's right. Okay. A couple different ways that you can utilize smoke cleansing. You can use herb wands, which will be anything from Sage, don't use white sage if you're not native, please. You can use rosemary, lavender, cypress. You can use eucalyptus. You can use almost anything. And I always tell people, too, that it's not always about what you're using to smoke cleanse. A lot of the times you can just use the energy of smoke itself. Like you could set a piece of paper on fire, or a stick from your yard. There's certain things you don't want to burn, but just try to do a little research before you set shit on fire. You can also use incense. They come in the form of cones, sticks. There's loose incense. There's little bricks. You could also use a censer, which is basically a fancy, usually brass, little contraption to hold incense and carry it around. And you see it a lot in I think it's the Catholic Church that uses them a lot. Which I find hilarious, but I digress. So those are a couple different ways that you could utilize smoke cleansing. All right, who's next? Next we have Libra. For Libra, I have feathers because they're Venus ruled, so I felt like that was perfect. What's
also
fancy?
They're pretty. I don't know.
Exactly,
it feels right.
Yeah. They're pretty. They're soft. They're kind of rare, So I'm like, all right, that feels very Libra to me. I like that.
Yeah.
All right, feathers. They represent many different things to different cultures and religions and societies. In some regions, there are sacred or off-limits feathers, such as eagle feathers in North America. So just a little note that if you're picking up feathers, not only are there cultural specifications for how to use feathers and how to collect feathers, but there are also laws. I know definitely in America, I think in other countries as well, that protect migratory birds and, our national bird, the eagle. So just try to be cognizant of what the laws are concerning collection of feathers. Just a little tidbit there. Don't want anyone to get in trouble. And they're like, hey, Power 3 told me to go traipsing through the forest, stomping down little fairy huts and finding feathers. No, don't do that. For Native American culture, feathers were seen as symbols that signify honor and connection to Creator, and they also represented the power of thunder gods and the power of earth and air and wind. I don't know if this is specifically just one type of feather or if it's every feather. I am not Native American. I don't claim to be of any authority to their culture, but just in my little bit of research, that's kind of the overview is that it's a connection to Creator and it signifies being honored by nature. For Celtic Druids, okay, I found this out this morning and it was from a scholar, a Google Scholar source, so I'm really excited about it. But the Celtic Druids actually wore feather robes in ceremonies to invoke the sky gods and gain knowledge from celestial realms. So they believed that wearing the cloak of feathers and with the presence of summoning their sky gods would allow them to transcend and enter into the ethereal realm. So it was basically how they astral traveled and walked within the realms and stuff like that. But I did not know that about Celtic Druids before, and I was very excited about it. For Egyptians, feathers also represented sky gods, and they I forgot the name now. I meant to write it down, but your soul also gets measured by the weight of a feather, so there's a little bit of underworld tones to it as well. And then even in Christianity, feathers often symbolize faith, hope, and charity. So yeah, I was super excited about the Celtic Druids thing. That was so cool. So possible applications, since you're probably not going to build yourself a robe of feathers, but if you do, I want to see pictures. But some possible applications would be to basically use the feathers as a fan, and you could push smoke that you're using, or you could, just kind of use it to fan whatever it is you're fanning for whatever magical purpose you have. You could also use it to kind of brush or sweep away energy. I've seen people do it with energy cleansings where they'll kind of wave a feather over someone. I don't know if that's cultural misappropriation or not, but that's just kind of one of the things I've seen because I don't do energy cleaning or energy work for people, so I don't have a lot of knowledge about that. But all right, last one is our Aquarius tool, which I brought the Athame for. I kind of felt like it was appropriate because it is both a very worldly tool, but also a very it's a tool in the world that you usually use for something else and you don't use it for that purpose in magic. And I thought that felt very Aquarian. So basically, if you don't know what an Athame is, it's a ceremonial blade used to cut or direct energy. You're not using it for physical cutting, but you're using it basically as in the energy realm, in the magic realm, in the spirit realm, you're using it to kind of I guess, direct your energy or, kind of put focus to what you're doing. They're not necessarily kept sharp. For mine, I have what was once a mail opener. So, you don't necessarily, it doesn't need to be sharp or anything because you're not cutting anything with it. It's just an extension of yourself into the magical realm. It was this, I also found out as I was doing my research, which I was very excited about. It was popularized by Gerald B. Gardner, the founder of modern Gardnerian Wicca. Wiccans will know what I'm talking about, but I'm probably not saying it right. And that was after spending time as a civil servant in Asia. While in Malaysia, he became familiar with a weapon with a wavy blade, and it's called a kris, spelled K-R-I-S. And there was a magical instrument called the kris Mahapahit, Majapahit, just in case you want to know. And it was supposed to contain a spirit and bring protection to the current owner. And it is actually, the Athame is actually known as one of Gardner's most distinctive additions to modern witchcraft. So basically previous to that, there were a few depictions of magic workers and herbalists and stuff having a knife or whatever, but it was never seen as a pinnacle, witch thing or a pinnacle magic thing until Gardner brought it from Asia, the idea of it basically into his Wicca, his version of Wicca. So, yeah, so that's all I have for you guys. Oh, wait. Possible applications was what I forgot. Okay, so possible ways to use an Athame in your magic practice. Open and closed circles is probably the number one most popular use of Athames. You also can direct your intentions or your energy when you're doing spell work or if you're enchanting something or if you're, doing some kind of magic like that, making a talisman or something. There are a multitude of uses for it in spell work. You can use it to summon and banish spirits, and I don't know how true this is, but I guess there are some sects of witchcraft that will put the Athame into the chalice, at the apex or at the climax of their ritual, and it represents that union of the masculine feminine energies or the god goddess energies or that kind of polarity becoming union. So that was an interesting tidbit.
The dick and the vagina.
Yes, D in the V. D in the V for sure. Yes.
Yeah. Good old dick in the vagina.
Classic. Yeah. So anyway, those are your air tools. Just to reiterate that I don't necessarily know if these tools are associated with these astrological signs. So if you're mad, I'm sorry if you actually know. But this was just fun for us. We just kind of gave them little almost personalities with the astro signs. So
right. Yeah. It's just all in good fun.
We just like to have fun, Sometimes, I was thinking about this the other day. where like there's this trend of like, you know, somebody has this thing in their shop and they're like, it's an ancient tradition of this, this, and this, and it's an ancient tradition of this, 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 and I'm like, you know, not everything has to be an ancient tradition. Just because text magic wasn't around back when they were burning witches doesn't mean it's not a valid form of magic. You know what I mean? Like, utilize the tools of the time, you know, and utilize the practices of the time. You know, not everything has to be ancient and like yada yada this and that. Like, it's cool to do that, to revive ancient stuff and like to, you know, hold on to traditions, but at the same time, like, it's okay to make your own traditions sometimes too. Like, don't be careless or foolish, but like, it's okay to like utilize the things that are in your world.
Right. It reminds me of the conversation we had with Jay Cross on our most recent guest episode with him about how his book was, it's, you know, it's about American brujeria, not traditional brujeria, and about how like traditions like change over time, you know, and it's not about, you know, fuck the ancient traditions, but like these things are mutable and changeable because so are we, and we evolve, and the tools we have evolve, and I think that's what's fun about all this stuff. You know, the things we have at our fingertips change, and so be adaptable to what's available. Basically, you know, like if you don't have rosemary growing outside your house, but you have some like odd kind of basil, fucking use it. You know what I mean? Like, you don't have to have what the Insta witches prescribe you, you know? For real. Yeah. For real. All right, you guys, we will be back next week with another element and 3 more tools for you to learn about. So in the meantime, catch up with us on Instagram at Power of 3 Podcast. Send us an email if you have anything you want to share, any comments you want to make, any questions you want to ask at powerof3witchpodcast@gmail.com. We'll catch you on the flip side. Bye.
Bye.
Goodbye.